afternoon. My name is Alena Shuatsova. I'm an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York. In today's video, I would like to talk to you about U.S. consulates reopening. On July 14th, a couple of days ago, Department of State announced that U.S. consulates around the world are going to start again regular routine visa services. Unfortunately, Department of State cannot share information as to when each consulate, each mission is going to fully resume its operations. It's simply impossible because, as the Department of State stated, the time for each mission will depend on local conditions. And as we all know, if you have been following the news about the coronavirus, in different countries, different societies are on different levels of recovery. I just checked, for example, the consulate in Moscow, Russia, is still open only for emergency appointments, and many consulates so as well. They still provide emergency appointments only for those who have urgent need to travel, and mostly focusing on services, some services for the United States citizens. Note that visa waiver countries, visa waiver travelers are not affected. Also note, even when your consulate is going to reopen and resume the service fully, you still may be subject to bans, travel bans, various travel bans that are in effect, including the two recent ones, one from April and one from June, according to the President Trump proclamations. Okay. Remember that if you're an aging out child of a lawful permanent resident, you can request an emergency service at your consulate. So, of course, children of the U.S. citizens, if there are emergencies. But for the most part, the consulates, from my personal check, still remain closed. We do not know when particular one would be reopened. I receive questions regularly with requests for information as to when consulate in India or in Russia will be reopening. The problem is that we do not know. Nobody knows. What also Department of State said is that reopening will depend on staff, if they will be able to provide safety, if they will have a full amount of people to work and service the public. Because if you cannot have people to service the public, of course, it will be impossible to resume all normal services. So for now, you have an opportunity to schedule emergency services only in most of the locations. As more information is going to become available, I will gladly share that. So that's basically all we know about the consulates at this moment. Remember, if you're a returning resident, meaning somebody whose green card expired and you will need services, you may be advised by the consulate that you may be subject to the proclamation. So I suggest that if your green card is still valid, okay, you may still be able to board the plane if your location allows to do that. It will be beneficial for you to try to resolve the situation at the border rather than try to resolve the situation at the consulate, because I received reports that for people who have green cards which are about to expire, and those people who are worried that they will not be able to board the planes due to this fact, and when they overstayed the 6 months or even a year outside of the United States, mostly due to COVID situation, they were advised by consulates that they will not be able to receive returning resident visa. I'm not sure if it's going to be a regular practice once the consulates are actually going to reopen, but that's the reports that some of my clients, potential clients, advised me of. So remember, if you have a document that is valid on its face, you should be able to board the plane and resolve the situation with your inadmissibility at the border. If the CBP officer decides that you nevertheless abandoned your residency in the United States, you usually will be placed in, you may be placed in removal proceedings, but you should be allowed into the United States via parole. Okay, so that's one of the often questions I receive about coronavirus and lawful permanent residence. For those who have conditional green cards, remember that you may be able to file the petition extending your conditional residency from the United States to an attorney, for example, and you're going to receive an 18-month extension letter and use that letter to enter the United States. This is for those who got stuck outside of the United States in a lawful permanent resident status, and now they were planning for a short trip, and that trip became too long, okay, and who were worried what's going to happen in light of the fact that consulates not open for most of the business and their documents are expiring. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, and as soon as I get more news about the consulates and visa processing, I will share them with you. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you soon.